Okay, that's us. We're live. Welcome, Bryan.
We're live. Hi, how's it going? Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, the pleasure. I don't know if we've got anyone watching live yet, but if we have, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. So I've got Bryan Gohl here with me for the next 30 minutes or so. Bryan and I met at a biohackers meetup about, I don't know, a couple of months ago, something like that.
Exactly.
And I have subsequently become a client of Bryan. So I've purchased one of these things, which is a red light. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I know I'm always banging on about blue light. So we thought we'd change it up a bit and I get
Yeah.
someone else to come on and talk all about red light. But I'm a big fan of this thing. So let's start here, Bryan. How did you get into therapy?
I lost you there for a second. Can you repeat the question there?
Yeah, no problem. How did you get into red light therapy?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I'm a health coach, so I'm kind of very interested in health and wellness, and I'm also a very keen biohacker, as you briefly mentioned there. We met at a biohackers meetup, and what biohacking is, I like to describe biohacking as being on the cutting edge of wellness, because being in wellness for so long and then discovering biohacking, I realized that what the biohackers were doing was like way deeper than what normal wellness warriors, quote unquote, are doing by having their juices and their smoothies and eating their whole grains or whatever. I just found this community of biohackers that were like really looking at the body under a microscope and realizing all these little hacks you could do to improve your health. And one of them, and a lot of them, use technology. And one of them that I was really kind of fascinated with was red and infrared light therapy, which I first heard more about at the meeting that we met, and then subsequently went and looked more into it, because it's very close to being one of those things where you're like, yeah, come on, shining some light on you, come on. But the more I read about it and the more I studied it, and then built my own light, I was like, and then felt the benefits. I was like, absolutely perfect. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So you've set up a business doing this, haven't you? Red Light Rising.
Exactly. Myself and my partner James, we kind of both stumbled across red light therapy at the same time, but the lights themselves can be so expensive, because I mean it's quite a new technology, and they're not normal LEDs. They're very powerful LEDs, and they're very expensive to buy. And we were just like, I felt, before I'd actually tried it, I was like, oh, I can't justify spending that much money on it. So James and I just set out to see if we could build our own for a much more friendlier price, and we could. And then once we built our own lights, and we each had a set and started using it. And at the time I had a shoulder pain and I had some wrist pain, and I'm always full of cuts and bruises, unfortunately. And I just started using my light, and the results were, for the inflammation and the stiffness of my shoulder, it was instant. And then of
Okay.
course I started noticing my energy go up and my mood go up over the next few days as I used it. And then we decided to share what we'd found and share the technology that we'd kind of put together, and yeah, Red Light Rising was born out of that. Exactly.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, before we get into what it's good for, who uses it, and how people can get access to it, what's the science behind this? How does it
Well,
work?
so the science behind it is that red and infrared light is a very narrow band of light that comes from the sun. Sunlight is white, and what we know from, I mean, I remember from high school science, that white light, if you shine it through a prism, it refracts and it all splits up, and that's when you see the colors of the rainbow. So red is obviously one of the colors of the rainbow that we can actually see.
Mm-hmm.
And then the infrared wavelengths, the infrared light, is what we actually can't detect with our eyes, but we know through other scientific measurements that it exists. And so what red and infrared light is able to do is it's able to penetrate the skin up to a depth of about 2 inches. 5 centimeters. So if you were to look at your arm now and imagine a straight line into your arm, 5 centimeters, that's quite deep. For a lot of us, that would probably go right through our wrist. And then what happens is when the energy from that light, what they call photons, when that hits the cells of your body, whether it's your skin cells, the cells of your bones, or your muscles, or your veins, or your nerves, it stimulates a chain reaction starting with a release of a certain enzyme, which you take that a few steps down the reaction and you actually get an increase in energy production. So our cells have little what they call mitochondria inside of them, which are the little powerhouses of the cells. And this red and infrared light stimulates those mitochondria to produce more energy. And so what that means is whichever cell in your body is being stimulated by the red or infrared light, it's having more energy to do whatever its job is, whether it's hair or skin or muscles or bones or blood. It has more energy to do its job. It becomes more efficient. And in many cases, it's very, very healing, again, for whatever cell that might be.
Mm. Yeah, and I get that anything that helps stimulate the mitochondria is going to have multiple benefits. What are the benefits that you in particular have derived? You mentioned your shoulder healing.
So for me, it's kind of exciting because as time goes on, I've been using the lights now for daily for probably about a month and a half, 2 months. And as time goes on, I keep noticing more and more peculiar benefits, like my skin is getting better, you will never be able to see it now, but I have those tiny little blood vessels on my cheeks and under my eyes. They're starting to fade and disappear. My eyelashes are starting to grow longer on my eyes, and I've notoriously had short eyelashes all my life, and my eyelashes are growing. It's really good for hair. But like you say, the biggest benefit for me certainly has been the reduction in inflammation. So when I was using it on my shoulder and my wrists and my knees, I have a big light, a big 1.2 meter light. So I'm able to get, literally from my eyes down to just under my groin in one go. I've definitely enjoyed the reduction in the inflammation, but also the energy. Like my physical and mental energy and my mood has really lifted. I blast myself in the morning for the energy boost. And then I like to use the light at night as well, just to kind of relax a little bit and kind of, target my joints a little bit. But it's a fine line because the light itself is so energizing for your cells. I find, sometimes it gives me a bit of a buzz at night as well,
Yeah, I've only been using this about a week, and to give anyone watching a sense of perspective, that's my hand against this lamp. So I'm sitting that up on some books and keeping it about 20 centimeters away from my face, and then just while I'm meditating for 10-15 minutes, I've got the light shining on me as well. So I'm kind of doing both. So.
That's way more than 20 centimeters away from your face, huh?
Okay, so much.
Okay.
All right, well, I'm probably going a little too far away then. I can come closer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can get you'll start to feel some warmth. When you get close enough to your face, you'll feel, or any other part of your body, you'll actually feel warmth from the light. Now, the lights, they don't get hot. You can use your light for an hour. Well, you don't use it for an hour, use it for 20 minutes, and then you'll touch it and it's warm. It'll never burn you. But, how I can tell is that, you get close enough to feel the warmth of the light on your skin.
Okay. All right. I'm probably not quite close enough. And Tony was saying she found a sort of a mild tingling sensation, nothing that disturbed her, but I guess she's probably a little bit closer to it than I am.
Yeah.
I have noticed, and I've got no vested interest in this product, as you know, but I've noticed in the last 3 days I've been using it that I feel more energized.
Yeah.
And that's been the main thing. I haven't got any issues with skin that I wanted to clear up. Haven't got any injuries at the moment. And that's the thing I've noticed. And that's been huge because yesterday, we were saying before we went live, went to bed late, watching the boxing on Saturday, lost an hour, up early to do a 20-mile training event for the London Marathon yesterday. So very broken 5.5 hours sleep. Last night, the cat was playing up. My central nervous system was overexcited from the run. Very broken, poor night's sleep, another early start with a client. Sat in front of that light for 10 minutes and I'm still feeling pretty energized.
Yeah.
So I think it offers a huge return in that sense. Okay, so there's some proven, some real efficacy around this from a scientific point of view. What kind of benefits can people expect to get? We've touched on some of them, but let's talk about them individually. Skincare is going to be something that interests a lot of people.
Yeah, there's, skincare is... obviously, it's a great benefit for a lot of people, especially for the ladies out there. Where ladies are often concerned with, complexion and appearance, and I am as well. I think it's a great benefit. It's certainly not my main goal, but the remarkable thing about the red and infrared light therapy is that the benefits just keep going and keep going. Just recently, I was reading about how you can do it yourself. If you open your mouth and let the light into your mouth, it's been shown to help. I think the dentine. I think it's a dentine on our teeth can start to reproduce itself and then like kind of thicken up your teeth a little bit. It's really good for killing bacteria in your mouth. The bacteria that causes the acid erosion. It's really good for a strange condition called hyposalivation, which is when your saliva glands stop to produce saliva and you tend to have a dry mouth. A phenomenal benefit, which I've been reading about as well, is that you can't expose your brain to it, but shining the light on your head, particularly in this part of your brain, this part of your head, is really, really good for your brain, because again, the light can penetrate through your skull, and it's got some fantastic potential of slowing the symptoms of Alzheimer's. And I don't want to say reversing, no one's conclusively said that yet, but it's slowing the symptoms and helping people remember things, because of course with Alzheimer's, you tend to forget a lot, and it's also helping with the
We've lost you there for a little bit, Bryan.
Sorry, when last did you hear me? Am I back? No?
We've lost you for a sec.
Am I back now? Oh no.
Apologies for this if you're watching. Give me a second and we'll try and get Bryan back. Bryan, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly, yes.
We seem to have lost him.
Oh dear.
Can you hear me? You've
Yes.
frozen and cut out. Yep, Bryan?
Hello? Hello, hello, hello.
Bryan, you're back.
Am I back?
Yep. Yeah, we're still live.
Okay.
That picture looks a lot better as well. You were talking about part of this.
Was that the last part you heard about the front of the head?
Yeah.
So what I was saying is that,
keep going.
what I was saying is that there's a lot of great evidence showing that shining red and infrared light on the front of your brain and even on the top, if you don't have any hair, what it does is it can cause this release of these tiny proteins that get lodged in between the neurons in the brain, and these are believed to be very responsible for the onset of Alzheimer's. And infrared light can break these proteins up and get them flushed out of the brain and get those neurons firing again. So that's very exciting for people with Alzheimer's, and just the benefits for hair growth as well, because it's the reason why red and infrared light is so good for so many things is that it re-energizes and gives more energy to the mitochondria throughout the body. And of course, we know that mitochondria is responsible for everything. If your mitochondria are starved for energy, even for a couple of seconds, you're dead. And that's why biohacking is so fascinating, because biohackers look at the mitochondria. We go deeper than anyone else in the wellness sphere and really look closely at it. And as you mentioned earlier, if your mitochondria aren't functioning perfectly, you're going to be showing signs of low energy. That can be wrinkles, gray hair, fatigue, joint pain, digestive problems, brain fog, weight gain. Everything is connected to it.
Yeah, and you're just going to be unable to live a full and deep life, aren't you, with any of those things? And they're pretty common issues. So I think this is something that people should look to try. Are there any negatives to it? Can you get overexposure to it? I mean, I guess it's like caffeine. You sit in front of it for too long, you're going to be overstimulated. Any other sort of potential negatives or warnings for people? At
this stage, there have been no negative side effects reported. And that's something, obviously, because I have a business selling these lights, it's something that I'm keenly kind of looking at. I do a little bit of reading on red light therapy every day. I'm always reading articles, and at this stage there have been no negative side effects reported. And this is, guys have been using red light therapy, or sometimes it's known as low-level laser therapy, since the 1940s and 1950s. And there's been nothing negative reported. As you say, the only thing that can happen is that you can get like a little bit jittery. Sometimes when I'm giving a public demonstration and I'm standing in front of the light for an hour, 2 hours at a time, peripherally in front of the light, I start to get jittery as if I've had too much coffee.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing. And if I use it at night too close to bedtime, I might lie awake for an extra 15 minutes because of the energy production,
So when my partner and business partner, Antonia, when I told her I was going to get one of these things and it arrived and I sat in front of it, she said, my mum's got one of those. Her 82-year-old mother, years and years ago, used to sit in front of the television, in front of this light, like that. I mean, decades ago. So it's not new. And in fact, my 82-year-old mother-in-law she's been tinkering with CBD to help her sleep. She's got a functional medicine practitioner out in Luxembourg. She's been taking supplements. Here's some of the stuff that we think is all wacky and new. And Antonia goes out there and her mum's like, I've done that, tried that. It's really quite funny. So yeah, it's definitely not new in terms of technology, but it's probably just having a new surge of awareness.
Exactly. I mean, it's funny you say that. My dad's had a red light lamp the same size since I can remember.
Yeah.
But again, I just never paid attention to it because I was like, what light's going to do, But now, what is new is that now we can use LED lights to get very targeted wavelengths, because like your mother-in-law and like my dad, I know it's an incandescent bulb, which means it gets boiling hot, and the wavelengths, which are quite important, aren't as accurate, because LEDs can literally be set up by a computer to have exactly the wavelength you want. So that's quite important,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I've talked a lot. Anyone who's a familiar consumer of my content will know I talk a lot about blue light blocking glasses. What is the difference between red light and blue light?
Well, so blue light is what you're blocking with your glasses, right? You're exactly right. And why you're doing that is because blue light is the main color that comes from the sun that tells our brain that it's time to wake up, right? Blue light is the wavelength of light that hits the pineal gland in the brain and either stimulates or switches off the serotonin production. Melatonin, is it? Yeah. Melatonin production.
Yeah. It suppresses melatonin production, which hinders sleep.
Exactly. Whereas red light doesn't do that at all, right? Because red light, if you think about it, when the light from the sun is turning red and orange, that's when our brain knows, okay, sunset, it's nearly bedtime, everything starts to slow down in the body, the mind slows down, and eventually we fall asleep. So that's what the red light is. Now, red light won't keep you awake in the sense of it'll be suppressing your melatonin. What it might do is energize your cells, like I've mentioned before. It's not the reaction of the light going through your eyes that's keeping you awake. So I like to use my red light as late at night as ambient light. Yeah. So it's not directly shining on my body, but it's lighting up the room. And in that sense, it's to go back to an ancestral metaphor. That's when we're sitting around the fire, and it's the glow of the orange fire and the red colors, and that's what's slowly putting our brain and our body to sleep. Whereas the blue is the sunrise, and that's telling our brain and our body to wake up.
Yeah. So my practice, I think, is going to be getting natural light in just by simply looking out the window, especially now we've got that, even early, it's relatively light. I'm going to chase that so looking out the window, very simply, getting some natural light on the eye retinas as early as possible. Then the red light while meditating. And then in the evening, just about after we end this call, on go the blue light blocking blockers. That's going to be my practice.
Perfect.
Conscious of time. So just talk a bit about your company and how it works. What are you selling? How can people purchase it? How can they, maybe they've just got questions, because this might have come left field for some people. They're not ready yet to spend even the small amount of investment on this little light. So talk to me more about how people can find out more.
Yeah, exactly. So the company is called Red Light Rising. The website is redlightrising.co.uk. And, we're obviously keenly aware that biohacking is very niche and red light therapy is very niche inside that. So like when I first heard about it, I was like, what is this? And just because I'm interested in this kind of stuff, I read about it a lot. But people can go to the website. We've been posting blogs on there, and our blogs start all the way at the beginning. The basic, how and why does it work, and then we kind of go on from there. It's one of those things where I feel like it's just about understanding it. Like I remember back in the day, if someone told you to drink a green juice, you were like, "What? It tastes disgusting. Why would I do that?" But then once you understand why you're doing it, it makes a lot more sense. And I think in that way as well, then you start to appreciate the benefits more, So just like what I did, I encourage people to, just educate yourself about it. If you're interested in it, have some Googling. Of course, a great place to start is our website. We've got some really well-written blogs on there. But of course, the internet is open to everyone, and there's a lot of amazing papers out there, and there's a lot of great studies going on showing the benefits of red light,
Yeah, cool. I've just actually posted in the comments a link to the website, redlightrising.co.uk. How much is the small light?
So the small light, you're looking at £65, and that's the one you had there. And I'll just mention the one that you've showed has got 2 wavelengths in it. Yeah. There's been 2 wavelengths that have been suggested are the most beneficial to the human body. Well, they're both most beneficial to all animals, really. And that is the red light frequency of 660 nanometers, and then an infrared frequency of 850. So the red light is better for your skin and your hair, and then the infrared light starts to go deeper into the skin and starts to hit the muscles and the veins. So the item you've got there is called the target bulb, and we kind of like to use that for it's perfect for the face and the head and for isolating areas that you want to target. So that's £65, and then we've got our flagship model is called the full stack, and what that is, that's a big tower of. I've got it in the other room. That's a 1.2 meter high tower of LEDs, and that's 200 LEDs in this big robust unit that I hang it off a door, and it gets me from just above my eyes all the way down to my groin. And the idea behind that is that you can get a much bigger treatment area, because the more cells you can stimulate on your body at the same time, the more energy you're going to have, the more benefits you're going to experience. Something which is fantastic about this, so if you're shining your target light just on your face, there's a very curious effect that's happening and is being recorded and clinically proven, is that if you're shining the light on your face, there's benefits to your whole body. Because there's enzymes and molecules that are released by the cells in your face or whichever part of your body you're shining on, and they're released into the blood. And then they actually circulate around your body, giving benefits to whichever cells might need it. So the good news is you can get a lot of benefit with...
You cut out, just as you say, giving benefits to...
the rest of the body.
Okay.
Any cells.
Okay, cool. And how much is that, the big light?
The full stack is £550.
Okay, and I'm going to post a code here into the comments section. It's Bodyshot Red, gives you £20 off, I believe.
Exactly.
Not the biggest discount in the world, but every little helps.
That's it. Like what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep our price as low as possible. So we're including delivery in that.
There's a bit of fat there. I appreciate that. £20 is £20. So I've posted the code. It's Bodyshot Red for £20 off the big light. Okay, cool. So one last question, actually. The human charger, which is a device I've talked about before, which shines effectively a UV-free blue enriched white light into the ears. How does that differ from the red light?
So the human charger, like you say, it shines bright white light out of those little earphones. And that white light is the same light that comes from the sun. The light that comes from the sun is white. And so if you were to split that white up, you'd get the colors of the rainbow. Yeah. So infrared red light is just one spectrum of that full thing, as is blue, and white is the whole gambit of that. So what you're simulating with the human charger when you plug it into your ears is you're simulating sunlight, right? And that's telling your brain, well, the sun's up, I got to get going. It kickstarts all your daytime processes in your body. whereas the red light is not the wavelength that stimulates the circadian rhythms in your brain.
Got you. Okay.
What the red light is it basically it's sunset, whereas white light is sunrise.
Yeah, got it. Okay. So the red light, healing, cellular repair, improving the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of our cells. It drives our energy. It drives a lot of the body's processes. Antonia's trialing it for rosacea, so we'll see what it kind of impact. And your anecdotal experiences, it's helping the little red flecks, the capillaries. So we'll see. And interest is energy. So we'll see. I think it's something that people should explore. I think it's quite an exciting new hack. It's another way of getting more energy, improving your health. A little thing to do that you can leverage at the same time as you're meditating or reading or even having breakfast. You can prop the light up and sit in front of that. So brilliant. Okay, Bryan, thanks very much for talking to us. Thank you as well.
Leanne, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to, just to carry on from what you said there, it's really something that people should experience. So we're going to be running some public meetup events in and around London, starting in April and continuing on, where we will bring a whole bunch of lights to a venue and set them up, and then people can actually experience the lights and see the hardware and give themselves a good dose in front of the light and see how it feels, because it is one of those, you have to kind of see it to believe it kind of things,
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Well, keep me posted on dates, because we'll publicise that for you and see if we can bring a little posse down to spend a evening sitting in front of a giant light bulb.
Yeah, we'll paint the fireplace.
Yeah. Okay, cool. The audio hasn't been great, so if you're watching this, thank you for bearing with. It's the first time we've done something on Be Live, and we're kind of trialing the quality of it. So it hasn't been amazing. Some of that might be due to my Wi-Fi, Bryan's Wi-Fi. It's all stuff we'll figure out. But thanks for bearing with us if you've got this far. Bryan, thank you. And we've posted everything in the comments in terms of your website, redlightrising.co.uk. Bodyshot Red gets 20% off the big light, just £65 for the target light. So there's a lot of information there that people can consume. If they want to ask you a question, how do they get hold of you is the last thing.
Yeah, they can reach out on Instagram, actually. We're very active on that. That's at Red Light Rising. And of course, info@redlightrising.co.uk. They can email us there with any questions, and we're pretty good with that. We'll get back to you straight away.
Okay, cool. I think I've typed it quickly, but I think I've got that out without typos. Brilliant. Okay. Have a great evening to everybody watching. Bryan, thank you.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.